This is Irontrader and it is midday trading, TGIF. Boy, what a market. Now, it's pretty well flat here today. So we're going to see how it all going to close out because I don't know if everybody traders going to be carrying a lot into the old weekend, okay? So as usual, we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, crude oil, and natural gas. But first of all, we'll take a look here at Apple and Microsoft. This video is for information purposes only, not recommendation advice on a stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we have Apple, we have Microsoft. Now, you can see here, it fell off with the rest of the market here. Okay, so let's just take a look here at Apple first. Now you can see where it's fighting this 8 SMA here. Okay, see where it came right on down and then it went right up here. Where did it go? Right into the 8-day. Okay, yesterday couldn't make it too, and today we're sitting right at it. So this is the key: is we need to close above this 194.27 level. Okay, so if we can, then we're going to come right here to this top of this candle right here. Okay, you're looking at that 261 level. Now, there's a lot of gaps here, okay? So you can see when you look at the top of this candle here, you got 207.49, there's your gap. And then we want to look to the bottom of this candle here at 221.02, there's your fill. Gap and your fill situation, okay? So always take that in consideration, but this is what we're looking for here. If we can get above that 8-day, we're looking at a retest of that candle right there at that 261. Now, as we keep on going up, before we get into that gap, there's a lot of resistance. So you want to look at that low. That's at 208.42 level. And then when we come right into that 21-day, which is going to be very, very crucial at 209.29 level. Okay, so obviously, again, if we can get above that 8-day, that 21-day is going to be your target. You get above that, then we're going to have this gap fill. Okay, so, but then we also have, resistance above. It's not just a gap fill. Okay, so you always have this. You always want to follow the bottom of these candles, 216. Okay, then we have that 218. Then you have your gap fill there at 221. And then we're looking at that 50-day at 224. Now, you can see here where we had this oversold condition. Now, there's no divergence here. So you can see we had a low, we had an even lower low, and we had even lower low. So there's no divergences going on here. And your green is still below your red. So we could have a sideways action here. At 8-day is going to be everything here on the old Apple going up to the upside. Now, downside. Well, what we want to watch here is we want to watch the top of this candle right here. Okay, so that is 194.15. Okay, then we'll come to the top of this candle here. You're looking at 190.34 level. Then we'll come to the bottom of there, looking at 187.34. We look at today's low at 186.06, and we'll come down to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 183 level. And then we have 174.62. We have 171.89, and your retest obviously is 169.21 day. I always like to show you where it can go, just in case we have this sideways action and it decides, well, market's going to sell off here. This is your big retest area here at that 169.21 level. So just watch that 8-day. Very, very key. We can close above that, then look to the top of this candle here, and then possibly that 21 SMA here. Now, Microsoft doing pretty much the same thing, except we don't have all those gaps, but we do have a gap up here, okay? I'll show you that in a little bit. Now, on the downside, you want to watch this 21-day, 381.77. You want to hold that, okay? Now, if that is lost here, your big target is going to be that 373.16 level, okay? So this one here is actually sitting pretty nice because you got the 21-day for support and you got the 8-day for support if it goes down. Now, upside is going to be very, very tricky because you got your 50-day sitting right there at 393.54. That's going to be key, okay? And then we can look to this price channel at 396.36, which is basically just the top of this candle right here, okay? And then we can just notch all these across. That's all your resistance levels. But if this thing starts breaking out and running up higher, which eventually it will, we always want to watch the top of this candle here, okay? So watch that. That is 422.86. There's your gap. And then look at the bottom of that candle there, 440.40. That is your fill, okay? So your gap and your fill. But a lot of resistance here. You got to get through that 50-day, you know what I'm saying, the 100-day, 200-day. But always watch those gaps and fills for big targets if this decides to start running. But actually, this chart doesn't look too bad because you got good support at the 21-day and that 8-day simple moving average. Obviously, if that's lost here, well, we can follow the candles down, but your big retest is going to be that 344.79. Now, you can see here at RSI here, well, we got to oversold conditions. There's no divergences. But again, we're sitting only at 51. That could go either direction. But now what I like about this is your green crossed over your red, and this is looking a lot nicer than what the old Apple is. Okay, let's take a look here now at Bitcoin. Okay, here we have Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly chart. Okay, let me just bigger up there a little bit for you. Okay, now you can see here, nothing has really changed from this morning's video, okay? We are trading that 200-day on the downside, okay, 78,880. See how nicely it held? And we're looking at that 21-day there on the upside, 83,944. Now, one of the key levels that we want to close above is going to be this 81,914. That is your 8 SMA. If that's lost here, we can come to the top of this candle here. You're looking at 81,100, but realistically, you're looking at that 200-day at 78,881. If that is lost here, well, there's a lot of support levels here, but below that, okay, you have that 78,675 level. We'll come down here. We're looking at 77,530 level. We come down to the bottom there, 76,735, and then your big retest down there, 74,635. But this actually is looking here pretty nice. It's hanging in a lot tougher than most things, okay? So right now what you're trading is between this 200 SMA here, okay, and this 8 and 21 SMA. Now, if we crack above that 21 day, then this is going to be your first target. Is going to be 85.60. We'll come up here. You're looking at 85.240, and then we'll come up to the top of this candle here at 85.955. But your really big target you're looking for is that 50-day at 88.609. That's going to be your big target here if we can close above that 21 SMA here. But right now, we're hanging in very, very nice, and we have what they call an inside day. Your high and low is within yesterday's high and low. Very, very nicely. Okay, RSI here sitting at 47. Plenty of room to run, and this is where we have that divergences, okay? So we had this low, we had a low, and then we had an even lower low, but we had a higher low here. RSI is perfect to show those divergences, looking out very, very nicely, okay? MACD, well, you're sitting there sideways here. I just think it's going to be a matter of time before this is going to rip up higher here. It's hanging in very, very nicely. Okay, now we look on a weekly. This is the key level here. By the end of the day today, it's holding at 77,404. That is your 50 SMA, because how many times that we have held it there key in the past. Now, just because it came down lower, the key is a closing basis by the week on Friday. Now, this 8 day is going to be very, very crucial on the upside. 85,770, okay? So always keep that in mind here. That's just right above here, this 21 SMA here, sitting at that 83,943, okay? So if we can get above that, then we can start hitting some of the other targets. But right now, you can see how strong that 8-day simple moving average is. So two-way trade, IBIT for the long, BITI for the short. I like those. BlackRock owns them. You got $52 billion worth of assets, okay? And it's a spot price. That's the key. Don't buy the futures. Look at the spot price. That's what you want. Okay, let's take a look here now, crude oil and natural gas. Okay, here we have crude oil, natural gas. Now, rig count will be out at 1. It doesn't really show anything. As far as crude oil goes, you know, it's coming off here with the tariffs, obviously. But remember, OPEC is going to be putting on a lot of oil starting May 1st here, okay? All those volunteer cuts, you're looking at over 400 million barrels a day, you're going to be adding to the oil. Now, again, that can change. If something happens like with Iran, there's going to be some Iran talks over the weekend, okay? Something like on that kind of order. So just always keep that in mind here. If something does happen to Iran and that oil comes off the market, well, then crude can go higher, okay? So just remember that. That's why I like trading oil, because it's like an everyday thing. You don't have to wait to earnings after this. Every day it's in play. That's the beauty of it. Okay, we obviously here have that inside day. So downside, we're watching 59.43, today's low. Then we'll look at yesterday's low. You're looking at that 58.76. Then we'll come down to the bottom here at 57.88. Retest 55.12. You lose this area here, you're going down to 50 and possibly 47. Okay, just that simple. Now, upside, very, very easy. Okay, you want to watch today's high, 61.11. We'll come over top of this candle here. You're looking at 61.75. 62.82 is your key. That's that 8 day. Now that price is below that. So until this price gets back above it, you're not going to hit the 21 day, the 50 day, the 100 day, and the 200 day. You're going to be sideways to down action. Just reality on the Go Crude here. So right now, I have the SCO going here, and I'm scalping the UCO, and I'm going to see what happens if we get to this 8 day. We have a reaction where we go above it, then we can go higher. If it bounces off here like we had here, then she's going to go lower. We start losing these candles here, then I'll add to the SCO position, and we'll take it down to the retest here. We lose this here, then it's balls out short all the way down to that 50 mark. Okay. Here we have natty gas. Now, it's really not in play. Seasonality is not in favor of this right now. But again, we have a hot summer. You know, power plants need the juice. Okay. Plus, you have the LNG coming for you forward. A lot of oil companies are getting into the LNG, at least for the next 4 years. And we'll see how this all going to shake out here. But we trade the charts here, so let's just see what happens. Okay. Key level of support here is going to be 3.33. That's lost here. We have right there, 329. And then we're going to come down to the bottom here, 316. There's your gap. 311. There's your fill. Boom, 200 day, 304. That's it. But you have to lose this on a closing basis, 3.33. Then your big target is that 304 level. Okay, upside. Obviously, we'll look at today's high, 357. We'll come up here, 3.60, and then we'll come to the 100-day at 369, and then we have your 8-day at 372, and then we have your 21-day. Now, 21-day and 50-day. Now, the 21-day is on the downslide here. 8 days on the downside. This is going to cross over that 100-day, and that's going to put a real crimp in the old higher prices. Okay, see where that 8-day ran right into it? Couldn't do it. Into it, couldn't do it. Into it, couldn't do it. Nothing happening today. Okay, so always watch that 8-day. It's a lot tougher than it looks. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after the open close. Take a look at Bitcoin, crude oil, natural gas. Now, the market's kind of like all over here at the place today. I wouldn't get too involved with it. Let's just see what happens over the weekend. There's going to be a meeting with Iran. There's going to be a lot of information out. So, a Sunday night here, if you're trading with the TOS here, you can trade at 8 o'clock at night. It goes 24 hours a day. We can always jump in like we did last weekend. Remember, the market just got crushed, went in there on a TQQ and just killed it this week. Okay, so again, the TQQ was up 37% for me this weekend. So this week. So, that's the thing. But again, this is a trader's market. This is not buy and hold. Nothing is solved here. Okay, the tariffs, nothing is solved. You got 90 days and you don't know if they're going to extend those. You don't know if they're going to get deals. We don't know anything of what's going to happen. So this market is going to be on the edge here for quite a while. So just remember, trader's market. Make money, put it in your pocket. Don't be afraid to take a profit and stick it in the pocket. Okay, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.